Hey everybody, this is me, Daniel Hutchins, and today we are live up here in my living room, and the reason for that being is because I am watching the dogs while my folks are going to see my barber. But enough of that now, so we are talking about an article today from our friend Cinema Blend. So today from Cinema Blend, we are talking about 8 DC animated movies that deserve a live-action remake. Now, this was from a couple weeks ago, so on we go. 8 DC movies that need a live-action remake. And they're animated movies, so yeah. There are many fans of superhero movies who, as they grow older, tend to abandon most animated straight-to-video features based on their favorite comic book characters. However, this has not been the case for the animated DC movies, many of which have proved to be popular as acclaimed as the Marvel movies, but also more faithful to the source material, and even more grown-up, such as Batman Killing Joke, for instance. That particular dark story is just one of the many DC animated movies we'd like to see brought to life on the big screen, as a live-action feature. Though we'll start with an epic team-up between the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel. Okay? Superman Batman Public Enemies 2009. Alright? So, Superman Batman Public Enemies 2009. So the DC Extended Universe did not really give Batman and Superman enough chances to fight alongside each other, and instead devoted most of their shared screen time predominantly in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, the seeing them at each other's throats. Now, a great way to see them brought together would be to pit the world against both of them, just like President Lex Luthor managed in Superman Batman Public Enemies, which is based on the Jeff Loeb's 2005 graphic novel. I wish I could see both Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck reprise their roles to a live-action redo of this, but would accept a recasting if meant seeing the movie's giant Superman-Batman robot appear on the big screen. Next on the list is Batman Hush, 2019. Another celebrated Jeff Loeb title that was later made into an animated film is Batman Hush, now in which Bruce Wayne uncovers clues suggesting that a new criminal terrorizing Gotham City is somewhat tied to his past. Unfortunately, most fans agree that the film does not quite match up to the original film and detective story that was published in chapters from 2002 to 2003. A more faithful live-action update might just be a great sequel to Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman, especially given the facts of the complexities of Batman's relationship with Catwoman becomes a major focal point. Next is Batman Killing Joke, 2016. Now, on the other hand, there are some fans who believe that the R-rated animated adaptation of Alan Moore's classic 1988 one-shot Batman Killing Joke suffered from being too faithful, minus the Batgirl-centered prologue, which was actually the bigger issue for most people. Since we already have gotten one good extremely mature origin story from the Clown Prince of Crime with 2019 Joker, I would recommend doing away with the flashbacks, but using the main conflict between Joker and Dark Knight as the jumping off point for an epic showdown unlike anything we've seen on the big screen. It could even work as a follow-up to the upcoming Batgirl movie, considering Barbara Gordon is extremely important to the story. Next is Batman vs. Robin 2015, another DC animated film that probably could have benefited from staying truer to the source material is Batman vs. Robin, which attempts to make Scott Snyder's gripping The Court of Owls story arc in a direct sequel to the 2014 Son of Batman. where a secret society of assassins come between Bruce Wayne and his son, Damian. Now, Damian, however, is not a part of the original comic, which is bare-bones detective story like many of the best Batman comics and very few live-action Batman movies so far tend to be. Apparently, though, Warner Brothers is working on a trilogy for Robert Pattinson's Batman, and perhaps one of these installments could be the Court of Owls inspired noir. Related to this article is upcoming Batman movies and TV shows, everything Batman and Gotham City related. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. Next on the list is Justice League vs. the Teen Titans 2016. So Damian Wayne also shows up in an animated film called Justice League vs. Teen Titans, which actually turns out to be a bit of a misnomer. The teens discover that Batman, Superman, and others are being controlled by Trigon, Raven's father. And once that becomes resolved, it basically turns the Justice League Teen Titans team up against the Demon. However, I would really like to see a concept of the younger heroes at war with the adult peers explored in a more grounded way, almost like how Captain America Civil War was handled, which sounds like a great setup for a feature-length spin-off for HBO Max Titans, if you ask me. Next on the list is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War 2020. You might want to watch most of the previous animated DC movies in order before you see Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. To bring up another MCU example, this could be considered the Avengers Endgame to DC animated movies, while also bearing many similarities to Zack Snyder's Justice League for its portrayal of heroes and enemies alike coming together for the wake of tragedy. However, the real reason I would choose to see this updated for live action is because the Justice League Dark members are already getting their own live action show, and teaming them up with more traditional DC heroes would be quite an interesting follow-up to this. Related to this article is 8 DC animated movies and TV shows to watch if you enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. Next on the list is Justice League Gods and Monsters 2015. I actually have enjoyed and continued to look forward to ways that Warner Brothers has diverted from one overall story and instead choosing to explore different possibilities within the DC multiverse of movies. One time that the DC animated universe experimented with Elseworld stories was the Justice League Gods and Monsters, which takes place on Earth, in which Superman is Zod's son, Batman is a vampire, and Wonder Woman rules the underworld. Something that's against type deserves a big screen update. Next on the list is Superman Red Son 2020. Another Elseworld story that would be fun to explore in live action is Superman Red Son, based on a 3-part story that imagines if Kal-El, instead of crashing in Smallville, had landed in Soviet Union. Mark Miller's exploration of that question leads to one of the darkest and most though-provoking stories of the Man of Steel, Reboot, and would make for one intriguing and timely big-screen epic, not to mention since it would be a canon story. Warner Brothers could cast anyone they wanted to play this version of Superman. I would have loved to add classics like Batman Dark Knight Returns or Death of Superman to this list, had both of those not been already heavily borrowed from the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice already. Maybe all I need to do is wait a few more years for the next reboot to happen. So, what are your guys' thoughts on DC animated movies that deserve a live-action reboot? If you guys have comments, please leave them down below, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.